Mr. Guy Forsyth, hello again. How is it the day after? The day after you keep everybody in your grip?
I'm glad to be here today. I just got to shake hands with Darren Lushlich, who's a harmonica player who I heard when I was first started, you know. So this is always a really precious experience. I'm very lucky to get to do it because I get to meet people that are my heroes, and I get to play music for people who are listening and are into this. This is what they want to do in a beautiful environment in a civilized country.
In Holland. we are from Belgium, so we are happy to be here because I remember you from Blue Spear 2014.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I said that's the man, Guy Forsyth. Did you know the festival Moulin Blues before? No.
Yes, I played here. I think this is the fourth time. Maybe it's the third time. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But one of the promoters that I was talking to, one of the guys who works here, said it was my fifth time, and that I played here with the Asylum Street Spankers, another band that I was in. But I definitely wasn't here when they played here. So I would have loved to have gotten to be here with the Spankers. This is beautiful here. It's a great festival. The fact that it's run, everybody here is a volunteer. They take the money that they make here and they use it to bring bigger acts. There's not somebody siphoning the money off for some other purpose. It's just everybody doing the thing that they love. People are at their best when they're doing the things they love.
Yeah, and they're doing a great thing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Always very, very happy to be here, but Moulin Blues top. But you're touring now in Holland.
Yes.
You've been in Dongen, you're going Den Haag, Assen.
Yes.
It's all because of this album.
Yes, they came out so long ago.
Yeah. Why do you want to do a tour especially for this one?
Well, this record, High Temperature, came from a live performance that I gave with the band that I was working with back in 1993. The record came out in 94, I think. You can check your numbers, but if I'm wrong, It happens a lot. And at that time, I was, me and the band were working in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Just playing in little clubs down on 6th Street. We weren't well known. We hadn't done too much stuff outside of Texas at all. Even at that time, not much outside of Texas at all. Regional stuff. There was a man by the name of Seth Willeman who was a medical doctor, Dutch. He also ran a methadone clinic. He was did a bunch of different things. And one of the things that he did is he had a radio show. And in that show, he played a lot of Texas music. It was something that he was into. And he came to Austin to work with Larry Monroe, a great DJ who, is a voice that I heard him in the radio every day for like 30 years until he died. Just a great DJ, but he knew everything about music that he could find out.
Yeah.
And so Seth Willeman, this medical doctor from Holland, went over there to learn about music from him. Larry Monroe said, "Hey, you like blues, why don't you go down to 6th Street and check out this young kid who's playing there?" So Seth came down to 6th Street and to Joe's Generic Bar where I was playing and had an epiphany and went, "I'm gonna start a record label. I'm gonna record these guys. This is gonna be my new thing." And he did. We were coming over to Germany to play at the Bremenal Festival.
Yeah.
And we'd been brought over by Crosscut Records and to make a live recording over there. And Seth said, "Well, hey, because we didn't have any sort of exclusive contract. It was just a one-off sort of thing." But Seth said, "Hey, why don't you let me come? I'll come and pick you up, and I'll take you to Holland, and we can record the band in this place called the Metropole in Hengelo." And he picked us up, all of us, and he picked us up in a police car, an American police car that he had imported from the U.S., like an old black and white with the one the one light, spinning light on the top.
On the top, yeah.
And so he took us back to his home in that was in Ingelo at the time, and we played this gig at the Metropole, and he recorded it. And because the Metropole at that time had a recording studio that was attached to it, and it was a live record. And when we played, we had been used to playing down on 6th Street at these clubs where that's us, where we were playing for tips. We weren't getting paid other than the money that people would put into the tip jar. And so we played these really long shows. And so when we played this gig at the Metropole, we played for 5 hours. Just didn't know anything. We just keep playing. I just thought that was what you did. And the people were there, so we weren't going to stop. And we recorded this record. Then we went back to the States, and he got the record. And then, in a way, at a level of dedication that I've never seen in any other record business person up to this point in my career, he took cassette tapes of the record and went to different festival places like Pier, and just waited, and the festival in Notaden, and just waited in their office, and just like, I've got a cassette, you really want to hear it?
Please.
Oh, I'll wait. And he was really charismatic. He had a lot of personality. And they were like, oh, okay, all right, put the tape in. And people really liked it. And he got us booked at these festivals. This was before we had any nobody knew who we were. So he was a real stand for the band. He was a real stand for the music, and he made this thing happen. The record came out. It was a big hit in Holland. Now there are Dutch and Belgian blues bands that play songs that I wrote.
Yeah, 20 years after you played the songs.
35 years after. Yeah.
You played the songs yesterday.
Yeah.
But all the songs were as new. You understand? That were not old songs. Everybody was enjoying these songs. So old songs. That means that they are very good.
I hope I appreciate that. Thank you. I think that they're all made out of elements that are timeless.
All the reactions today were the same. Guy Forsyth was yesterday the best one.
You honor my teachers.
Yeah, you are, like you said, from Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on the internet, I was Googling your name, you find everything about everybody. And there was one thing that was remarkable. When you were young, your hero was Robin Hood. I read that.
Yeah, it was my job. I worked at Renaissance Festival.
You got a job as a stuntman?
Yeah, when
playing Robin Hood.
Yeah, stuntman makes it sound a little sexier than it actually was. It was more like being one of the Three Stooges. It was physical comedy. It was slapstick.
Slapstick.
Yeah. So I worked at a Renaissance Festival doing a show where I played Robin Hood with a big guy who played Little John, and the show was him throwing me around, and getting beat up by him. And it was comedy. It was great.
I'm happy it's a true story.
Yeah.
If not, I was doing not asking the good question. I read also this is typical Austin music. Is that also your idea, or must you define Austin? I don't know what they meant by that Austin music.
Clifford Antone, who started the Antone's record label, did a really good job of finding a way to bring black musicians down from Chicago and Memphis and different places on the Chitlin circuit, which was mainly a black.
That's the not the highway. No.
Yeah. It's mainly black music for black audiences. Yeah. So it wasn't in the best theaters.
Yeah,
so it wasn't
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
not on the highway, but on the.
But he was a really big fan of the music, and he made a club and reached out to people like Eddie Taylor. I think Eddie Taylor was one of the first people to play the club, and Eddie Taylor was like, "Okay, you're paying? Yeah, I'll come," and started bringing Eddie Taylor, Little Walter, Muddy Waters, all these folks who were still alive, still working. This is in the early '70s, and so they're still alive, but the blues market has kind of cooled off for a lot of them. but he gives them a stage. One of the reasons why Austin, Texas has a reputation as a music place, the live music capital of the world, I didn't come up with that, is because there was a really great renewing audience. There was a huge college there, Texas University, and a number of other colleges, and it was where the state government of Texas was. So there were always people coming in. There's people who didn't have anything else to do after the day's work, either at school or in doing conventions, stuff for government. They wanted to go out and have a good time. So there was this great audience that was always around that could support a lot of live music. One of those places was Antone's. Now, so when you say it's typical Austin music, I know that it was Kim Wilson and the T-Birds that I heard about first, and another harmonica player by the name of Lee McBee, who used to play with Mike Morgan and the Crawl. He said to me, because I'd started playing harmonica at that time, and I would follow him around and sometimes get a chance to sit in with him. And he told me, what you should do is go down to Austin, because you should check out Antone's and Kim Wilson, because he's the best. He's the best guy who's doing it right now. And so put the seed in my head. While I was doing Renaissance festivals, I did one of the festivals in Texas, and on a day off, I went to Austin, and I went down to 6th Street, and I went into Joe's Generic Bar, and there was a band playing blues there, and they were working for tips, and I was already working for tips doing the Renaissance Festival thing. But it was kind of brutal, you'd perform for 2 days doing the stunt stuff, and then you'd heal for 5 days, and then you'd go back and do it again. So it was not easy work. But I saw people playing music and working a tip jar, and I was like, well, I can do that. I know I can do that. So I moved down there just after I turned 21, and started to go to Antone's to see shows. And I started, and as soon as I could, I got gigs. Before that, I just played on the street. I was a busker. So, and it was cheap to live in Austin at that time. There wasn't, the tech industry hadn't moved into Austin. Austin was a much smaller place, it wasn't expensive to live there. I think I want to write a book about my early experiences, which would be called Austin on $10 a day. Because you could get by on $10 a day. You could get tacos in the morning, get noodles in the afternoon, and you'd still have $6 to go buy, get a long neck beer for $1 and eat free at a happy hour. Yeah. So I was able to do nothing else but play music, and I could focus on that. I didn't have anything else that I was doing. I had dropped out of college to go live on the streets of New Orleans because I was so hungry for the music. Yeah. And that all ended up being vocational training for me. Austin, so I started to hang out in Austin at the blues scene there, and the elements that are on this record are very much the elements that I was getting from the environment that I was in. The shuffles, the harmonica playing, the immediacy of the music, where it wasn't something that was put on a pedestal, but rather something that you were throwing yourself into.
Another thing that I found on internet, that you are very committed to community. What matters with community?
Yeah.
What's your motivation?
Well, I'm a musician. I'm basically a luxury item. Like if people can't afford to go see music, they don't get to, and that's a loss. But the type of music that I like, blues and stuff like that, it's not from the top down, right? It's from the bottom up. So community is where this music comes from. This is not high art. It's folk art. It's something that we do together. And so I do have a lot of politics at this point, because at this point, everybody has to be involved in politics. If your attitude is, politics just aren't my thing, you're showing a level of privilege and entitlement that a lot of people are denied. They just, there's a lot of people that politics is life and death.
I know, but the way it goes on this moment in in the States. But we won't discuss this.
Oh, yes.
Did you-
Hey, fascism is bad. Fascism is bad. Pedophilia is bad. Let's go ahead and put that on record. I'd like to go on record saying that. Thank you.
Did you ever regret that you are a musician?
No.
At the moments that you said,
There are
Jesus, help me, but-
definitely frustrating times
Yeah.
about it because it doesn't pay particularly well. There's not a really good safety net. I have no plan to retire. I have no options to retire. That's okay. If I was to retire, what would I want to do? I'd want to play music.
we have said enough about your album, The High Temperature. Your latest album, can you tell us something about your latest projects?
Well, right now, I've recorded an acoustic record that will be called 78 Special
Yeah.
that I did with a couple other musicians in Austin, which it has a couple original songs on it, but most of it's really old music. These are from the 1920s and 30s. That's the stuff that made me want to play. I saw John Hammond play when I was 18 years old. I had gotten a harmonica for Christmas when I was 16. It came with an instructional book. It was Country and Blues Harmonica for the Musically Hopeless by a guy named John Gindick. That was published on Klutz Press. It had a cassette tape, a harmonica, and a little book.
And what was the first song? You still remember what you first blow?
Oh, like the first thing that I remember. I remember. yeah. Ba-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Which I can teach you how to play. You know, it's like it's pretty simple. I had seen the Blues Brothers when I was younger, and it caught my imagination. I was really into when I was a little kid, just trying to stay up and watch the television late at night. I would watch Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live was one of those moments in America where
Everybody.
everybody was watching sort of the same thing. You know, you had the Blues Brothers had the #1 movie, they had the #1 TV show, and the #1 recording, all at the same time. You know, so it was this amazing moment.
We must have time for the. We don't have long enough for the recording.
That's okay. That's okay.
I have a few questions. Is there an album that you want to do one day? Do you say one of my things, an album, a special one?
Well, I guess
Maybe with somebody or.
Oh well, I mean, if we're wishing here, I'd like to work with Tom Waits. You know, if I got to pick with anybody, I'd like to have Tom Waits produce my record. There was that John Hammond record, Wicked Grin,
Yes.
that Tom Waits produced, and it was all Tom Waits songs done by John Hammond. When I first saw that record, I was like, how did they know? They made this for me. How lucky can you get? I love that record, and that show also was really fantastic.
Did you met him once?
No, I saw him play. I saw Tom Waits play at the Paramount Theater in Austin, Texas. I was not much farther away from him as I am from you right now. I was very, very lucky. That I got to see him. But I don't know him personally, and I'm not, and I don't wish to bother him.
Okay.
Because he must have a lot. And I think he's reached a point now where he should just be enjoying himself. Because he's not working. He's just probably enjoying his family.
Do you have also days that you're not a musician? Do you have also days that you are not a musician? That you go to do a walk or that you go to do something else?
Absolutely. I have been practicing martial arts and specializing in Yang style Tai Chi for now 35 years. Because going back to work when I was working as a stuntman, doing martial arts and stuff like that, I'm not competitive at this point. There was a time when I was doing traditional kung fu and I was doing some fighting, but I'm not a fighter. That's not why I'm doing it. Also, you have to take care of your hands. As a guitar player, you need to be careful. But doing martial arts in an intelligent way has made everything better in my life. I'm not a violent person. I don't get into fights, but also I don't have to be scared. That's nice.
Okay, I have a last question.
Yes.
What are you doing to keep your music relevant today?
Good question. What makes music relevant?
That's the question.
Yeah.
What is for you relevant?
I think you have to be in the instant when you're performing. You really need to take advantage of the fact, the here and now.
Yeah.
Because I think music isn't something that I do at you. I think that music is something that we do together. That's live music. Recording music is a different thing, but I'm much more of a live performer than I am a studio musician. I've done a lot of that. I've done a lot of recording. I've played on hundreds of other people's recordings, but that's not, it's no substitute for live music. We were talking about a little bit about community earlier.
Yeah.
What use is music without people to listen? Not that I don't play by myself, when I'm at home, because I love doing it. But people are at their best when they're sharing something that they love.
Great verse. The last question, what I missed yesterday, your soul.
Yeah, it's
everybody. Do you know Guy Forsyth? Oh, yes, the man with the soul.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring it.
Oh.
Because I don't want to be known as that saw guy.
No.
It's fun. It's a gimmick. It's
good. It's great.
It's musical and
musical.
And anything that you can do in music, in like the sort of rock and roll format where you've got drums, bass, guitar, harmonica, whatever else, anything that you can do at this point that makes people go, is valuable, right? Anything that gets people to go, what am I looking at? What is this here?
Oh, he's special.
Because it puts you in an alpha state. It puts you in a state where you're actually looking. You're trying to figure out what's going on. That is the best. A good songwriter does the same thing. Like there's a certain turn of phrase, a certain bit of music that causes you to wake up. You're like, what's that?
With the right verse.
Yeah. A good blues solo should surprise you and at the same time be exactly correct. Not like in time and in pitch, but when you hear it, you go, yeah. But it has to surprise you. It can't just be the same thing over and over again, because the things that we experience over and over again, we tend to no longer see, no longer hear. If you listen to the same recording every day, eventually you don't hear it the same sort of way.
Yeah.
So you have to find ways to wake yourself up. I think that's basically it.
But they already sung that "Wake Up, Little Susie." Mr. Guy Forsyth, that were my questions. Thank you again to come back today. Thank you for your time, for this time, and hope to meet you again.
Thank you very much. It's a real privilege and an honor to get people to listen to you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you lots.